Welcome to the podcast where we take a deep dive into the stories behind construction business leaders. We will share how they got started, how they found success, and the lessons learned along the way. I'm your host, Eric Fortenberry. Welcome to Builder Stories. Welcome back, everybody. I've got a very special guest today. We've got Mike Coffey, who is the owner of Coffey Custom Builds. They're located in El Dorado, California. Really excited to have you on the podcast, Mike. Welcome to Builder Stories.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, why don't you kick us off with kind of the usual, give us a little bit of background, who you are, how you got into construction, what led you to start Coffey Custom Builds?
Yeah, I actually, before this, was working at my family's metal stud framing and drywall subcontract shop. We were a union shop, and I was working there for about 6 years, I think. And then I got into woodworking as a hobby when my son was born. And I would do that every waking hour that I could. I would woodwork all the time. I got into that and I started falling in love with it. And then I started selling some pieces, and then I started making more money at that than I was at my family's business. And after a couple of years of that, I had to make kind of the tough choice of, what do I want to do here? And I loved working for my family. It had its stresses, but it was a good gig. It was a good company. I was really proud to work there, but I wanted to do my own thing. Drywall and metal stud framing wasn't my thing, and woodworking was. So I started doing custom furniture. I got really heavy into traditional joinery, traditional woodworking, making bespoke pieces of furniture. And as that started getting busier, I brought on an employee who was my cousin, and I had bought a CNC machine, and he started operating that on the weekends for me while we were building custom pieces. And we started doing some commercial work and residential work and custom pieces all over the place in California. And I started getting more employees, and I left my family business, took this thing full time as a custom furniture and cabinetry shop, trying to lean mostly into furniture because that was my passion. But as the company grew, I noticed that we needed to get more into cabinetry because that was more sustainable, and we could control margins more, and we can control a lot of the outcomes there a lot better than with furniture. And the margins were just great. So we were leaning more into that. And then several life changes through that period of time, personal changes and life things going on. Last year, early in the year, I started thinking, I need to get my contractor's license. And I started asking friends and family members and people who I respected, and all of them were like, you need to get your license. So I got my license last year, and it's just taken off since then. So we just haven't looked back. Everything's been changed. So now we are primarily a commercial cabinetry and millwork subcontractor, and that's what the company is now. So I've got 4 people in the shop. I've got a VA. We've got all of our support staff, and we need more. We're constantly scaling. It feels like that's the most exhausting thing in the world, is feeling like I'm having to constantly scale. I'm in the middle of buying a large building right now so we can move our operation to that, and just lots of constant changes. It feels like we're just constantly growing. So that's kind of my quick elevator pitch of how I got into the contractor world.
Yeah, that's great. I think another really interesting and unique thing about you is you've got over 120,000 followers on Instagram, and I believe it's something like 40,000 on YouTube. Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, how did you get into social media, creating content? Kind of, how did you build that presence, and what's your goal?
So when I first started woodworking, I didn't take very many traditional woodworking classes. I took a few just to get going. A lot of what I learned was from social media, and I thought it was such a cool platform to be able to learn so much. There's a lot of misinformation out there, but there's a lot of really good information out there. And as I was starting to learn woodworking, I wanted to also teach people, even though I had no business doing that, but I wanted to teach people what I had learned. So originally my content was just a guy in his garage learning how to do woodworking. And there was something for people to learn from that who knew less than me. But I think it was just kind of fun watching a guy figure it out. And that really was what I was doing, was just figuring it out. And then over time, as I got more into custom furniture and I really started to learn what I was doing, I started to lean into teaching as part of my platform. That was my platform. And I would go to different events across the country and teach various things, whether it was woodworking itself or how to grow social media, things like that. That just became a part of a large part of my brand. Content was a large part of my brand. It was a solid 60-40 or 70-30 split leaning towards content, especially when it was mostly custom furniture. Anymore, it's not really that much. As I've been growing the business, it's been really hard to focus a lot of energy onto content, but it is not something I ever want to let go of. And it's definitely something that I want to be able to lean into more again in the future as soon as possible. My goal right now with the company is to get everything set up so I'm not nearly as hands-on with the day-to-day operations. I don't want to be an employee at my company. I want to own the company and I want to run the company. I don't want to be the guy. I'm just, my hands are in too many things and I need to hire the right people for that. And that's the process that we're in right now so that I can get back to telling my story on social media and what we're doing here. So for me, I think the thing that lands the most with people is the real gritty honesty of whatever it is you're doing. If you're doing construction or making pottery or whatever it is, people like to see the human aspect of it. Some people want to see the craft behind it for sure. There's a value in that for people, but people want to see how that trade, craft, hobby, activity, whatever it is you're doing affects the human being and how that human how they're affected by that and how they affect what they're doing. So, I think that's the big thing. Like, it's the relatable human story that is the most important thing. And that's what's really important in content, is seeing the human. And that's, as far as my goal with content right now, I think right now with the position I'm in, the goal right now is for me to share with other people who own businesses or people who are trying to run a business the things that find them value in their business. Like for me, I try to share the things that are bringing me value in my business and the processes, procedures, software, whatever I'm doing that I'm finding that is like a life hack, for, lack of better phrases, I guess. But I mean, that stuff really helps. I can't really do the same content anymore because by and large, I'm not making custom chairs or custom tables or stuff. We're making a lot of cabinets, a lot of them. And it's frankly uninteresting. Watching the same like laminate cabinetry being produced in mass isn't very exciting, but seeing someone run a business can be exciting, especially if that's something you're trying to do. So that's going to be more of what the content becomes in the future, I think, but I also don't really know what's going to land in the future. And the social media scape changes so quickly, and it's so hard to keep your hand on the pulse of things without just being full-time dedicated to it to really know what's going to land. So I might go into being like, we're going to talk about the business side of the business. It might be some other thing that lands with people, and I have to pull on that thread as soon as I figure out what that is. So we'll see. It'll be a refocus here. I know 2027 is going to be a much bigger content strategy for me. This year is more of a getting the business grounded in a place that is sustainable for long-term future. So that's kind of
how long have you been like posting content like this regularly? Because
9 years.
9 years.
I mean,
okay.
It's since I started this from almost, I guess it'd be about 8 years actually. So I guess probably 2018. And I used to post, I would never miss a day. There was a point where during the pandemic, content was just really, woodworking content was just on fire at that point in time. I think a lot of crafts and trades were really big in the scape. I was posting twice a day religiously for a solid 2 years. I would not miss. If I was on vacation, I had content ready to go. I had everything. It was really important to me to never miss that. And that would pay off. It really did. Was it worth it? I don't know. But it did see growth. It really did see growth. And like the payoff was there in certain places. I guess it's just really hard to 100% with my heart feel like it was aligned with what I really needed out of my life, but I was doing it. There was success found in social media and content. I was working hard, getting content growth, and there was good income coming from it. There was good brand deals. There was good things going on, and it was putting my company in front of people that I never would have been put in front of before. We were getting clients across the country, really, that we never would have seen without a real proper marketing campaign. It was our marketing campaign. Sure. We'd get things in front of people and we'd get high-end clients on the other side of the country who would order really cool projects from us and we'd be shipping them across the country, and we never would have had that opportunity otherwise. So, I think, well, you're probably going to ask me like, where do people screw up on social media? So I'll wait till you get to that. But but I think people use it wrong for sure.
I just the fact that, I mean, again, you have put such a focus on making sure that you're extremely consistent. Like, I mean, maybe can you like walk us through like what is your content process? Like, how do you come up with the ideas? Like, how do you keep track of, what you've recorded, what you've done? Like, when do you film it? How long does it take you, to actually produce it? Who does that work? Are you
Sure.
doing it? Do you have a team of people? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like the amount of effort that you must be putting in to actually deliver consistently for year after year after year. I mean, like that's incredible, Mike. Like, tell us,
It's a
like,
lot of
how
time.
do you go about that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the most successful stuff. I mean, I'm talking from a dated understanding of what content is. I really haven't been aggressive in content in the last year and a half, like I've been in the past. But when it was going really well, my best successes were for content that I didn't really plan out that much. And it was always frustrating because you'd put all this energy into this thought process and you'd be like, it was good content. You'd put out solid content that you were proud of, but it wouldn't land. Whereas like we had one post one time where one of my employees was just hammering in a piece, an inlay into a piece of wood, and they got like 40 million views or some bogus. It was an insane amount of views. It got like 15,000 followers for such a dumb thing that I was just filming him really quick as off like almost a joke, almost making fun of him. Put some weird trending audio on there and it just blew up. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, I don't even like, you're like, oh, I spent all this time feeling like I understand content, and then something like that takes off and you're like, nope, I don't know how any of this works. Like, it's just like, it's just like you're just throwing stuff at the wall. But, I mean, the honest answer is, in terms of the time investment, it was significant. I mean, I would be, whatever we were doing in the shop, I would film for short form, like the portrait formats, like Instagram, TikTok, and for Facebook. And if you're making content to make content, don't sleep on Facebook. There's a lot of important stuff going on over at Facebook. There's a lot of people who have a lot of time on their hands viewing a lot of Facebook content, and it's a good place to put energy, believe it or not. But my daily routine would be wake up, I'd be editing the post or posts from the day before that I'd be posting the post from the day before that I had edited late into the night. So wake up in the morning, get posts ready. I always posted at the same time, which was, for me, I found the best time to be 9 a.m. every single day. When I was on a 2-post period where I'd feel like posting twice a day was worth it, I would post again at like 4 p.m. Pacific time. And that's really different for every account because everyone has a different audience. So anyone who's like, you need to post at this time, they don't know what they're talking about. They're wrong. They don't know, because every single account has a different audience, and you don't know when the best time that audience is. There's just no metric that's 100% accurate. You have to figure that out through posting and testing and figuring it out on your own. Just quick side note, I will say that I feel like most people who say they know what they're talking about with social media are lying. They don't know there's just no way to tell. It's just so hard to like know these things like for reals. Everyone really has to understand their specific audience, which is really important. But I'd spend the morning doing that, get my son to school, come back, work, film the whole day. A lot of the time it was just the camera was running with whatever operations and processes we were doing. Because for me on my page, what did best was process shots, usually like 2 to 3 really sexy, quick shots of us doing some joinery or some whatever method, a process that we were doing for some cool piece would do really well. The other things that would do really well is beauty shots. So beauty shots and processes did really well for my channel. Everything else just kind of wouldn't land. Though on YouTube, the things that did land was instructional. How to build a thing, because people are searching, how do I build a table or whatever all the time. That stuff would land. For YouTube, I did have a videographer for about a year and a half. He would film and edit everything, and we were a partner in that. But his production company took off and we went separate ways, and then it was me filming and editing everything. And that was so much time to make a long form video together. It would take me, it'd probably be 6 to 8 weeks between putting videos out, because that's just how much time it took while running a business. It was just almost impossible. It was killing me. It's a huge investment, like a huge investment. If you really want to see success in the content space, be prepared to invest a lot of time. And the only way around it is to have videos go viral. And you don't really want videos to go viral. You want slow, steady growth in the content space, because if you have a video go viral, you have a bunch of people, you get a bunch of followers, your numbers spike. And then when your next video doesn't do the same thing, or the next few videos don't do the same thing, the algorithms see your videos as less valuable than that one that did really well, and it will stop feeding you to people. So the best thing you can do is have consistent content creation, putting out consistent content of the same type, so that your audience grows, and it's so the platforms can put you in front of people that are more like that audience to help you grow more.
Yeah, so that's great. I'm curious, how do you, you talked about kind of, you have to sort of figure out when is the right time for your audience, your location. Like how would you gauge, is it better to post at 8 or 9 or 10? Like how do you measure that? Like what is the metric or metrics that kind of like can help tell you when is the right time?
The thing I would do, because the times would change, is put together a few weeks worth of very similar content and release them in 2-hour increments. Like on a Monday, drop it at 8. On a Tuesday, drop it at 10, and then space these things out and see where you're seeing the most success. Also, days matter too. There's some days that are just garbage. Monday used to get a lot of views for me. Tuesdays would get nothing. Wednesdays would be fine. Thursdays would do nothing. Friday would be great. It was all these different weird things. And you can go online and Google, why does this day do better? And there's all these made up reasons, but no one really knows. People are really are back at work on a Monday, and they're tired of being at their desks, so they start opening up browsers and looking at content or whatever. Who knows how true that is? Just those numbers would change. But I would do tests, really, because on short form content platforms, Instagram doesn't offer it. TikTok, they actually might. I don't know. I'm so out of touch with TikTok now. I think I've got like 40,000 over there, but I haven't posted in years over there because it's just been so volatile. I don't even know who owns it now. But it's just all over the place. But YouTube has the ability to tell you when your audience is viewing the most. You can look directly in their stats, and YouTube is like incredible about data. It's a data company. They're an advertising company. It's Google. They know when people are online. They're tracking that religiously, so you can go into Google and look in your dashboard and see exactly when your viewers are online. But with Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you really have to just run tests, run similar content at different times, and see what hits when.
That makes sense.
Keep a notebook. Like that's what I would do. Is I would keep a log. I would keep a log of when stuff was hitting. Sometimes I used to I'd get so upset when I'd miss a time. Like I'd just get caught up with something in the shop and I'd be like, oh man, I missed posting by 40 minutes, and it would matter. It made a difference. And it would affect posts for the next few days. So like find a time, figure out the time that works, and stick to it.
Do you think that, like for the majority of, contractors out there, like is there social media strategy? Is it likely to try to drive inbound leads and create awareness?
So with what we're doing now with general contractors and commercial work, it does nothing for us. We do have architects go and look at our stuff, but they care more about our website. I think if you're a residential contractor, a general, beauty shots will help you get client confidence. When we were doing custom furniture, my page would just, as soon as I would link our page, the Instagram page, we would get a sale, because they would see the shots and be like, yes, immediately, whatever the price is, we'll pay it, and it worked for that. I think as you deal with more professionals in the field, they don't care about social media. So you're selling to the wrong audience. So you, as a general contractor, in my opinion, you need to have a portfolio for your beautiful shots, which you can point them to your website, or you can use Instagram to grow a platform there with your beautiful shots too, because people will see it and like it. So I would say if you're a GC doing residential work, put your beauty shots up there. But if you're trying to grow an Instagram page ask yourself why. Like, why are you doing that? Why do you need to do that? I think if you got like 150 followers on Instagram, a residential client might go, that's kind of weird. But if you have like 100,000 followers on Instagram as a general contractor, that could help you land some sales. But I think you might get the same conversion rate at like 2,000 followers as a general contractor showing it to a residential. They just want to see the end results. I don't think that someone's going to decide to drop $200,000 on a remodel based on how big your Instagram page is. So I think you need to ask yourself, like, what do you want to do with Instagram? And I think a lot of times there is value in building a community. You can meet other trade professionals through that space, through social media. You can grow your general contractor buddy list or whatever. You can make and create a really good community out there. So I'm not sure how much for general contractors a social media page is going to help other than your beauty shots. I do think if you're doing like specialty trades, I think the specialty trades can see a lot of value in it, because you can see like this person takes a lot of care with their craft. I think that helps with the specialty trades. But I think it's tough. It's a tough sell with general contractors unless you have those beauty shots. I've got a few buddies of mine who are general contractors. They do all residential. They put their most beautiful stuff up there and that's it. That also, I think, is not a good idea. I think you should also put some of the other stuff up there of you being a human, running a business, showing the struggles and wins of what that looks like. I think that's helpful as much as putting the beauty shots up. But I think ultimately, if I'm going to be paying a guy X amount of dollars to remodel my home, I want to see that he can do good work, not that he's silly on the internet, or he's a goofball. I do want to know they're a human.
I've seen a lot of, especially the educational posts where it's like, for people who are targeting, residential, a lot of times the end consumer doesn't understand, what it's like to go through a large scale renovation.
Yeah,
and so when they can see those behind the scenes, like kind of get a little bit more understanding of the process, what challenges might come up, how are you going to address them, what works, what doesn't work. I mean, it seems like that educational content can really help to warm up the lead, so that when you have that first conversation, like they're not just totally cold coming in blind, like you can point back to, oh, well, did you see, when I, talked about this, or how we, overcame that challenge, like kind of, I think it can be used as a great tool to warm and nurture those prospects before they've actually become your customers.
No, that's a solid point. 100%. I have a lot of my interior design clients and other GCs that are doing the same thing. They'll do like an infographic set of slide photos of like, this is what's going to happen when you agree to our quote. This is what's the next. And what they're doing is creating safety and confidence with their potential clients. Because a client, most of the time you're dealing with a residential client, they probably are only going to do this 1 or 2 times in their whole life. And it's a huge investment for them. So it's very scary. Yeah. So they're very afraid to invest this money. That's why I got out of residential. But they're afraid to, and understandably, like it's a completely human, natural response. I've got to drop 200,000 or 100,000 or 60, 30, 40, whatever this large amount of money is. It's hard-earned money that they're about to spend on a thing. They want to make sure that the person taking them to the finish line knows what they're doing and is going to treat them right through the whole process. And you're 100% right. I mean, utilizing the platform to convey your knowledge and to make yourself the expert and the person who successfully landed these projects in the past is absolutely a great way to do that. In the same way that beauty shots do. That's a great point.
So if we look at the flip side, like, are there things that you've seen people do where they're posting online where, maybe that was not a good piece of content, or like, I mean, are there, you alluded to it earlier, like what mistakes do you see people making with their content that, you would advise against for contractors?
Well, it's tough because, like, I mean, the real honest answer is you see these general contractors posting disparaging clients, talking about money troubles, these things that would make me uncomfortable to give them my money. Now, what they're doing is kind of funny. So I think they're trying to like elicit a response from a larger audience that isn't their client. And some of these ones that I see are not even really general contractors. I think they're just parody accounts for the most part, making jokes. But I do see general contractors posting about like problems in their business, all kinds of things that were incredibly avoidable, and they're talking about their frustrations with these things and things that they just didn't plan around that they should have planned around. Don't do that. I'm not saying try to hide those things, but don't go forward with that message to your clients. It's not a great thing. I mean, you really want to own your mistakes with clients, and you really want to figure out the best solution moving forward, and whatever you've done wrong, you need to make it right. But maybe don't tell those stories often. I would keep that to yourself.
So when you're blaming others for,
right.
blaming the customer, blaming the, the trade partner, blaming the weather, but just kind of that sort
anyone
of
but yourself. Yeah. It's just like, you're not going to own anything that goes wrong in this project. No one wants to work with that. So, I think I really think that it's tough because the reason I bring up those like parody accounts that almost seem like they're, those accounts do really well in the social media scape, but I don't know how they're actually doing as a business. So you almost have to like make a decision, and it's like, do I want to be a highly successful content creator, or do I want to be highly successful at my business? Because it's really hard to give the right amount of energy to both as a single person, or even as a handful of people running a page or a thing. You really need to understand, like, what is the point of our social media page right now? Well, realistically, I really care more about growing my business. So I'm going to utilize my social media page to convey safety and confidence to my clients, and to talk with other business professionals and contractors about how we can do better in our crafts. That's how I utilize it. I think I see other people out there making the mistakes I said earlier of blaming others, complaining, making this thing like a nightmare. Like, they just hate their life, it seems like, and they're just using their social media platform as a therapist. I think no one wants to see that. And I've made the mistakes, like in my stories. I'm like, I was dealing with the stuff, and I'm like, I got to take this down. This is not going to work. Like, I cannot keep this live for everyone because this is not professional. It just becomes unprofessional. So,
I think a lot of people, though, they, oftentimes they don't feel comfortable putting themselves out there, and they, that leads them to not do anything with social. And, I think, and again, in today's age, like, it is so important that you do have a profile and you have a presence. How active you are. If you got, probably not going to get, the same level of followers and engagement that you've gotten over several years, but like, where would you recommend, for contractors out there who are listening, like, they know they need to do something, but they don't know where to start, and they keep telling themselves that they don't have the time, that this isn't a priority. Like, kind of, how do you sort of help them figure out, like, where do you go to start?
For me, it is so, when I first started it was so weird to be in front of a camera. Talking to people is so, from now, I don't care. I love it. I love being in front of the camera now. But at the beginning I was like, I wasn't really big on social media kind of in general. I felt like it was doing more harm than good, which I still kind of feel that way in a lot of ways, but it kind of is how you use it and what you make of it, So the thing that helped me the absolute most was just doing stories on Instagram. It gets you comfortable seeing your silly, stupid face, like saying some stuff to people, but you're not putting it out to such a large audience potentially. You're really only putting it in front of whoever's following you at the time. So for me, it was a very easy way to get comfortable talking to people through a camera. That helped me out. It really is weird going from not utilizing social media in any way to leaning heavily on it for your business or whatever you're trying to accomplish. It's weird. It's really weird going from not doing it to doing it, to putting yourself out there, feeling like people are judging you, and you will feel that way. Because people are probably judging you. You just have to learn to not care, which is really hard to do. But you got to figure it out. You've got to be like, you know what? I don't really care because I'm me and they're them, and it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Like, it's not there. I don't care. I just don't care. And that's a hard thing to figure out, and you got to work through that however you can. But I really like doing stories. At first, there's a lot of pages that, kind of rule of thumb is, if you're going to put content out there, put your face out there. And I think the faster you pull that Band-Aid off, the quicker you just have to do it. You just got to get yourself out there and be yourself. Be a human, be a relatable person, And when you start getting the positive responses, you'll be like, this ain't so bad. It's actually pretty nice. It's a little validating and it feels pretty good when you get into like the thumbs up and the high fives from people. And I think when you're a smaller account, you're going to see way, 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 way more of the positive, upbeat high fives than you're going to see the people coming out of the woodwork who are hating. You really don't see that until you start getting a lot more followers. And then at a certain point, you just start to love the criticism and you just start trolling them back, and it's super fun. I've turned it into a game now. Like I'll just go back. I'll try to keep like a long thread of like a troll going as long as I possibly can, just as calm as I possibly can. And I'm just laughing, making them more mad. It makes me so funny. And then I just block them, and it's great because I have full control. So it's, but for real, just make yourself do it. Just get out there, put yourself on camera, and you're going to start feeling more confident about yourself when you do it for some weird reason. And you're just going to keep doing it. And then you're going to become who you are is going to start shining through naturally as you do more and more of that. And it's going to feel really good. And you'll be like, this is not a problem. Just do it.
It's interesting. And, our marketing team would tell you the same here too. Like the more I think about recording something or recording content, the more preparation I put into, trying to, have a full script and follow the script and say it exactly right, the more it leads me to like, oh, okay, no, let's redo it. Let's redo it. No, I don't like that. I go and I watch and I overanalyze, and like,
cause it's not
gotten to the point where it's like, I rather just kind of do it off the cuff. And a lot of times I don't even go back and watch it. It's like, look, even if I made a blunder, even if I misspoke, even if I did, said something that, made a mistake or whatever, like, that's just being real. It's who I am. It's creating natural content. It doesn't, it wasn't some fake, AI generated content. Cause look, I stuttered. I made I said something, whatever. Like it just like, I think that real, raw content is so valuable, and like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like nobody expects every conversation they have with someone else to be perfect. Like this is life. This is who we are. And I think that like, getting comfortable, just, look, let's just click record and see what happens and put it out there. And, like people aren't going to like judge you for that. Like they're going to like appreciate that, you're being, open and vulnerable and transparent and just sharing. And like, I think that's what creates that, like, that natural following of people who genuinely want to follow along and are interested in seeing what you're doing, learning from you. Like, but I agree with you. Like it's a hard thing to kind of get over, especially at first when like you're just so self-conscious about everything. And like, oh, am I going to look good? Am I going to say the right thing? Like if I record with someone else, are they going to like get upset or whatever? It's like, look, just try it. Like you just got to pick up your phone or pick up your camera, click record, and just get comfortable doing it. And eventually, it's second nature. Like I'll step behind any camera and don't even think twice about it, and you have fun.
Yeah. If you're worrying about something that hasn't happened, make something happen and worry about that. That's more important to worry about something that has happened than something that hasn't. I mean, just do it. I mean, it's just, and you're 100% right. You just got to be, I mean, whenever I write a script for content, I don't read it. It's just my ideas it's more of like a brain dump of what I want to say. I'll memorize that whole brain dump, and then I kind of reset. It's all fresh in my mind, and I say it how I want to say it off the cuff, because you can tell when someone's reading something, their eyes dart around, and you can tell when they're like looking up into their head, they're remembering what they had written down exactly. You don't want that. You just want to be yourself. No one cares enough. I mean, no one cares as much as you think they care, honestly. Like no one cares enough. Unless you say something heinous or horrible, no one's going to really like care that much. They're going to be like, oh, that was kind of a human misspeak, but it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's fine. It's going to be fine. You're going to recover.
So again, like for the people who, let's say they've kind of gotten past that, they've gotten to the point where like they're creating a ton of valuable content, they're getting, the engagement, like, and then you start to get the attention of some of the larger brands. Tell us like what is it like, when a builder or contractor starts to, get interest from sponsors, and how does that come to fruition?
Man, that is one where if I could go back and talk to myself when I was starting, I would say, talk to your peers. Don't try to figure it out on your own, because it's just, you're going to get taken advantage of and you're going to do it wrong. Bottom line, brands start reaching out for different things. It's so hard to understand your worth. And, as brands start reaching out, like when the numbers started being there, and how should I word this? When the views were there and I had very strong analytics, the value that I could command from brands was shocking. Sometimes I'm like, what? Holy cow. And eventually it got to be, there was so much of it going on. I did have a company managing that for me. I had a management team, and I had an agent, and they were handling all that stuff for me. Honestly, up until I had my stroke last year. And that's where I kind of had to like rejigger my life and refocus everything in my life and kind of get a lot of things dialed and changed. But as these brands come in, they start asking a lot of you for nothing. And you're like, I'll just do it for the exposure. And it's like, yeah, at a certain point, you do need to learn how to do things. Like, you have to walk before you can run. That's very true. But at a certain point, you need to you start doing things for nothing, and you start getting taken advantage of, and you're like, this isn't even worth it. Well, I'll tell you, if you get paid the right amount, things are worth it. So it sounds gross, but it's true. I mean, you're putting in an energy into something that takes a month to make a video for, something that takes weeks to make videos for. It's a day's work. So sometimes, a couple of days work for some of these things. It's a lot. I mean, I can get into the real nitty gritty of these different things. Like, I would do content for companies that would never even go on my page. I would do basically ad reads or an advertisement for a company, and the money was nuts. Like, it would pay my mortgage for several months, and I'd never even put the content on my page. We'd do these like a couple of different ads for local power utility. We did that like 3 times. We did the power utility like over a period of a year and a half. Every 6 months we were running an ad for them as a local small business owner, and it was great. I would lose a whole weekend of filming. I would work with my editor for a solid week and a half. We would go back and forth on edits, and it was well worth it, As I started getting into more, as we started needing more tooling and to tool up the shop, some of the brands would reach out and be like, hey, we'll send you this for this. And I'd be like, I need this tool and you're going to pay me. And that was the hard part. They'd be like, wow. I'm like, I know you're doing it. Like, I know you're paying people to do this stuff. Like, I mean, you can act like you're not, but we're all friends. Like, all of us content creator people, we all talk. I'm like, okay, fine. So then you just have to get past that hump. And then when they'd pay you, we'd get the tools in and we'd have a tooled out shop. There was a lot of tools in here. There's a few large power tool companies that I've worked with over the years. One has been very, very good to me over the years. Unfortunately, we've kind of outgrown what they can offer for our production needs. But they were great for years for me. They took good care of us. We had great tools, either very, very, very discounted or completely free. And it worked out really well as a person growing a furniture or cabinetry company. Go ahead.
What I'm hearing is, again, like you got really into this, got really good. To the point where like you created, a separate business here.
Oh yeah.
Now you're trying to run, you got the contracting, carpentry side. Now you got the social, the content, I can only imagine that's you're working, both ends of the candle there, and like just kind of probably burning yourself really thin. Like at what point, like, does it make sense? Like, is there a point, like, if you really want to focus on growing your construction business, like, I'm a big believer in, like, you got to focus and you got to be all in on one thing. If you want to do that, really, really great. Like, does it get to the point where it does become a distraction, or where like you're spending more time, you're losing focus on, your core business because, you see all the likes and the engagement. And it's like, like, it's real exciting. It's fun. Like, we love when we get a bunch of people commenting and liking, but like, how do you balance that? Like, when does it become a distraction and something that's actually taking you away from what, your core focus should be?
Yeah, honestly, that's been the whole last couple of years for me, is coming to terms with the fact that Mike Coffey is not really Coffey Custom Builds anymore. And that was the big thing. Like, when the content was doing the best, it was like, I was this guy making stuff. I learned a talent. I learned a trade. I learned a craft. And I was a goofy guy. I'd have fun on the camera. I'd have a good time. It was great. It was Mike Coffey. That was Coffey Custom Builds. I'm not Coffey Custom Builds anymore. I haven't even made anything in my own shop in almost a year now, It's like this, it's like a whole different thing. Like, I just run a business now. I'm this guy who runs a business. And, it was, the writing was on the wall like a couple of years ago. It was like, oh man, this change is coming, and I need to figure out what even is content going to be for Coffee Custom Builds? What is Mike Coffey going to be with Coffee? I mean, all these different things. And it's so weird to say, but it was the reality. Like I had to make that decision. And like I mentioned earlier, I had a stroke last year. That was where I was like, everything had to, change. It was a huge change. I almost died. It was a real scary thing. And it's not to be dramatic, but like it took that because I'm so hard headed and so stubborn. And it was so hard to let go of a thing I've spent so many years building. And not that I've let it go, but we're having to like just completely change what it is now. Like I'm trying to almost I'm trying to create Coffee Custom Builds as this company completely separate from me so that I can go back to making content again, making custom furniture, and separate these things enough to where the company's running itself. I put in 20 to 30 hours a week into this thing instead of 60 or 70 hours a week into this thing, so that I can go back to doing that thing I love, which is why I started this. I started this because I love making custom furniture. Like I love woodworking. I truly to my core love it. And I haven't done any of it, because I'm fortunate enough to have a company that is succeeding and we are doing well. But it's to the detriment of some of the things that I love and that I'm passionate about. I don't have the ability to do both. That's not possible. I just can't. I almost died. And it wasn't a stress thing. I had a heart defect that I was born with. None of us knew about it. And I almost died. And that was like a plug got pulled and I was like, okay, I have to focus on the thing that I have employees that I'm responsible for. I have a son. I have all these things that I'm responsible for. If I die, a lot of what they need is gone now. And content will not provide that for them. So content is a thing that's entirely for Mike Coffey. I think. I don't know that with where we're at as a company, I can point people to our Instagram page and say, hey, look, this is the quality of work you're going to get from us. And it will land us jobs. But with the commercial cabinetry, content doesn't really bring us more work. So I'm trying to bring myself away from my business as a person to get back to content so that I can focus my energy back there and do the thing I love with it, because I cannot do both successfully. No. Something will suffer. So for right now, I've made the conscious decision to put my energy into this business so that I can get the right people in the right places to run this thing for me. While I will run the company, but they will manage the day-to-day stuff, so that I can get myself back to doing what I love doing, which is making custom furniture and doing social media again.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I really enjoy it and I miss doing it. And I don't want to have a big production team. I don't want to have a social media page that is representing a brand. I want a social media page that represents Mike Coffey.
Yeah.
I miss that. Not from an egomaniacal standpoint, but from it's just much more fun it's much more fun to be building stuff and content around the fun stuff I'm doing than it is to be about talking about, I don't know, how to balance books. It's just not as fun. It's just not as fun. So,
well,
anyway.
It's interesting because, and what we found again with kind of with job treads, social media versus, using my page and kind of the, Eric Fortenberry, like the algorithms and the social media sites, they seem to really prefer, the people. The businesses, the company pages, the brands, like they just don't seem to push that out as much as, you could post tough. The same piece of content.
They want you to pay
on a personal page versus the company page. And like you get like 10x the engagement from the personal page. And so like, I do think it's important that, contractors really think about how are they building their brand and their presence and their awareness? Because like at the end of the day, like people, they buy from people. They want to know who the people are that they're going to buy from and who they're going to work for. And so like, can you kind of talk a little bit about like, the difference between like, that kind of like, how should people be thinking about the company versus, the person and kind of building those two brands?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I mean, at some point we're going to have to make a Coffee Custom. I don't even know how to do it. Like, I don't even know what the approach is going to be yet, because Coffee Custom Builds is my company name, but it's also my online identity. And we've rebranded my website in the last year. My social media branding doesn't look like my company branding. It's a completely different branding package from two different graphic designers, when people from social media go to my website right now, they're very confused because it's geared towards commercial GCs. There's no more stuff for people who are like hobbyist makers in their garage trying to figure stuff out. I used to sell a ton of digital files, lots. We'd sell all kinds of stuff, different files I've made over the years, plans for different builds. I don't know how I'm going to utilize that moving forward, but I have to figure that out. And so do other general contractors, business owners. You need to figure out how to delineate these things so you can have your company page, which will be your portfolio of finished pieces or whatever cool stuff you want to share, the infographics, what our process is. You're sharing your branding mission goals and accomplishments and stuff like that. Who you are as a company is there. It's important to have that. It's good. But as the owner of this thing, you can have much more fun with the content, and your business, you still need to be professional, but your business might not suffer from a more like loosey-goosey post where you're having more fun. I mean, you, Eric, can post different things to Eric Fortenberry than you can post to JobTread. It's just the bottom line. Like you're selling a piece of software to general contractors. They want to go to the JobTread Instagram page and be given confidence in what they're about to invest in for their company, especially in an industry where it's people who hate change. It's people who are afraid of change, are afraid of computers and software. And I mean, honestly, not to like blow smoke, but like you guys are leading the cutting edge of what construction software can be and what it can do. That's really scary. And you guys are trying to figure out a way to demystify that process and get that get that in the hands of people who really, all of us need it as contractors. We need this stuff to work well. You as a human being and the owner of a company, can go on Instagram and have a lot more fun with it than the JobTread page can. You can talk about your guys' company meetings or get together you guys had, some fun stuff, whatever's going on in your life, these different things. You can have much more human conversations and interactions with people than the JobTread page really should. It really should be two different delineated like things.
Do you think as you've continued to build your social presence, like has that enabled you to change how you price your jobs, how you kind of value the services, like given again you've got a bigger audience, you've got more interest, you're creating more awareness for your business, like has this in any way led to you being able to charge more or even just value your time more, so that ultimately led you to charge more and make more?
Yeah, prices have just continually gone up. A lot of it is the learning curve of just screwing up on your pricing early on, but prices are just constantly going up. Nothing's getting cheaper. We see these different economic changes, and the cost of gas isn't going to go back down much. The cost of cars isn't going to go down. Like, we're not going to see these things go down in price much. Everything's just going to continue to get more expensive. That's just the reality until there's some massive crash. So that's how we have to run our businesses. If you, you really have to learn how to attract the right clients. For me, we were making expensive stuff that starts at a bottom. Our lowest end price point is a lot higher than a lot of people can afford. So we had to find the right customers for that. You have to learn how to filter those things out quickly. You have to learn how to not waste everyone's time, yours and theirs. Because there probably is someone who will make the thing they're looking for at a different quality than we can produce at their price point. But we're not that person. We make a different price point. We have a different experience. And when I would show people our work, it would lock up a sale at the price point that I would give them. So it did help because they could see that. And then we can show our operation a bit more too. We would show what we're doing. We could show them. They can go to some dude in his garage messing around on his table saw and he'll make them a table for sure. They will be able to eat food on that table just as much as they'll be able to eat food on my table. But my table will be able to go to their grandkids. That dude's table will not make it through 4 summers. So there's a difference. So the quality is there, but social media has helped us be able to clearly tell that story that we have a better product in what we're doing. So it definitely has helped.
So I want to
Yeah.
shift just for a second here, kind of as we get into our tail end. I mean, like, again, like I've been following you for a long time. I've seen how great, your work is. I've seen your social. Like, I mean, you're clearly, you're working more than the typical, 9 to 5er here.
Right.
How important is it, like, for you to have like systems and processes? Because, like, again, like the amount of output that you are delivering every single day is really unheard of, Mike. Can you kind of like just, what is your superpower? Like, how are you doing this? How are you doing so much so efficiently? Like, I've seen you leveraging systems, technology, AI, like, again, like a lot of these things, like, it just, can you talk to us about like, what is it that helps you to just be able to just crank so much out so quickly?
I mean, I'm not afraid to try new things, and I don't think I have the best methods. I haven't been doing this long enough to have a big, huge ego about what we're doing. I like, as related to JobTread. I mean, we jumped from a different platform back in December, moved to JobTread. It's been a huge win for us. I talk to a lot of business owners that are like, I'm like, who's your CPA? They're like, oh, we do that. I'm like, do you run a CPA business or are you a contractor? Like, no. Then why are you doing a CPA's job? You don't know how to do that. Hire a CPA. You got to find ways to stop holding on to things. Like, just don't hold on to things. If there's someone who does the job that you're trying to do, pay them to do it, because it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. I'm in the process of figuring out how, like, in the last 5-6 months, I'm like, oh man, I'm doing a ton of administrative work. I didn't start making custom pieces to do administrative work. I need an administrative person bad. So I hired a virtual assistant, and I'm leaning into Claude heavily. I have multiple agents. Like, right before we got on this call, I had Claude pulling in all my bills for one of my vendors for the last month and putting them in JobTread, and then pushing them over to my payment software, which I use Trust. So all these things, like, use systems, put software, put processes in place, lean on things that exist. Keep your ear open and open mind, and listen to what other people are doing and see what's bringing them value in their businesses, and use every hack you can. I mean, we produce a lot of stuff. We have, I got 4 people in the shop. For how many people we have in the shop, we make a lot of things. We produce a lot of product. We do a lot of things. I do too much. I fully recognize that I'm not living a maintainable lifestyle right now, but it's, I'm in the process of fixing it. I'm working on it. Once we get it, I'm in the process right now of buying a building. We're looking at buying a very large commercial space right now to move the whole operation to. Once that's done, I'll be hiring a full-time office manager to handle a lot of this stuff, to take a lot of things off my plate, because this isn't what I want to do. I don't want to do this. Being open to new ideas, trying new things, listening to people who have positive. If there's a large group of people in your trade talking really highly of a specific thing, listen to it. At least listen to it. Don't be a fool. You're foolish if you don't want to even listen to what they're saying. Try it. See if it works. Give it a little try. Try it for a month. Do something different for a little bit. If you're drowning in a thing and you put it out there to your audience on social media, that's the other thing that social media is great for. You can pull other people. We had an issue we ran into earlier this week. I put it out in my stories. Hey, other cabinet shops, what are you doing? Now you get a lot of people who are like, why don't you try this? And it's like a person who's never built a cabinet, completely unuseful information, but they just want to interact with you, which there's nothing wrong with that. They're just like trying to be like helpful, and they want to be a part of the conversation, which is a cool thing about social media. But you can pull a very large audience. I have 120,000 whatever plus followers. How many of those people are cabinet shop owners? Probably a solid 20,000 of them. You know what I mean? Like, I can reach out to how quickly can I get those responses, And that story saw like 30,000 people. And I got like 200 responses of what they're doing in these shops, which is incredible. So listen to people around you. Be open-minded. And just because you've done something one way doesn't mean you should always do it that way. Because humanity is always innovating. No, that's why we're humans.
That's great advice, Mike. I see, again, a lot of people kind of get sort of stuck in their ways, and they don't realize how fast technology, how fast things are evolving around them, because they're just been so heads down, so laser focused on just doing the same thing that they've always done, that they don't realize there is a better way, or there may be a different way. And, it sounds like, you've done a really good job just kind of like being open-minded, exploring new things, trying new things, like not being scared to get out of your comfort zone and explore. I mean, like that is like, you have to continually, evolve and keep up with what is happening in the world around you. And like, by doing that, like it helps you to find those new methods, those new things that you might not have done otherwise. And, it sounds like also, I mean, like networking. I mean, just like talking to
Huge.
other people who have been there, who are going through the same thing. They've already overcome those things. Like you can learn so much from other people. And, again, having that incredible, social, following and presence. I mean, we're just kind of down at, a little measly 10,000 people in Job Tread Pros, but like, being able to have that community of people where when you need help, when you need to throw an idea out there and get real feedback, like you instantly get it because you've got so many people. And like, again, I think that's another kind of side benefit of building this online presence around, social, but like, just again, like I think it's about being open-minded, and it sounds like you've done a really good job and can point to many instances where like that's helped you find new ideas.
Yeah. I mean, I was using a different, I'm related back to Job Tread here, but like I was using a different piece of software for a while and I wasn't looking for something else. I was dialed for what we were doing at the time. It was fine. And it was getting us, it was what we needed it to be. It wasn't until last year that I was like, this isn't working. This isn't doing what we need. We had made our own like spreadsheets and dumps and just stuff that just felt so clunky and silly. And, I knew it wasn't working. I think if you try something and you screw up, you're not a fool. You're kind of brave. If you don't listen to other people's advice, then you're a fool. That's when you're a fool. At least listen to people. Not everything is applicable to everyone, but I mean, I was at an event and I heard 3 different trades talking about Job Tread. I'm like, what is this? And then I did a dive that weekend, and then that's when I was like, okay, we're changing. And then not to like keep going down the Job Tread blowing smoke, but when the AI thing has been massive for us, the integration with AI is huge. I have like 9 agents or something like that do things that I am going to pay a human to do. Well, we'll probably still have AI do that, but they will be monitoring it and managing it just because it is so ridiculously fast with an AI to do it. But them to make sure quality testing everything. Really, I want a person who I can hold accountable for it. It's really hard to hold AI accountable for things. Yeah. But trying new things is huge. I mean, it takes so much time off my plate, and at a time when I need as much off my plate as humanly possible. Just doing new things is so. I like trying new stuff. I think it's cool. Like if you try a new thing and it works great, I'm just like, yes, like let's do this. And as many times as I can have those aha moments, I'm stoked on it. So that's always awesome. Fun for me. Yeah.
Well, I would definitely love to hear more about these different agents. Maybe you can create some content for everyone to really understand how you've leveraged AI. Because I mean, again, I know it's been huge for you and for many others. I wanted though, kind of as we wrap up here, like what advice would you give to other builders, to contractors, people out there who are listening? They could be at any stage in their journey. Like, what do you wish you would have known, when you first started that now that may be able to help somebody else kind of skip over a couple of those hard knocks, those lessons you learned the hard way? Like, what were a couple just pieces of advice you'd give other contractors today?
So this may seem obvious, but creating a very clear, what's the word for this? Like operation plan for every single project and following it to the T. The times we've had projects bite us in the butt are when we didn't follow our task lists perfectly. I know this sounds real like lame, but like it's so important to have processes in place and a very clear line. Like if you create your schedule for your job, I mean, back to Job Tread, we do it in Job Tread. Every time we get a new job created, it has this long list of tasks. And the only time we've had jobs bite us in the butt is when someone in the shop, project management, missed one of those tasks. It's our own fault. Dot your I's and cross your T's. I think what you should do is, if you're in a specialty trade or a general contractor, ask other shops what they're doing. Again, this goes back to not being afraid to ask other people for advice. Ask them what they're doing. I think you'll find that any business owner worth anything will want to see you succeed. And the ones that don't, avoid them 100%. Just stay away from them. They are poison. You don't need that type of people in your life. If they don't want to tell you or help you with helping you succeed, they're not the kind of business owner you want to be friends with. You want to be friends with other business owners. If you're a real business owner and you know the struggle of it and you've actually put the blood and sweat into it, you want to see the next guy succeed or the next gal succeed. You want to see them succeed and make friends with those people. And don't be afraid to ask them questions, because I know when I got people asking me for help, I'm one, honored that they want my help, but two, I love to help them avoid mistakes that we've made. So I don't have one piece other than set yourself up with a system that you can trust and lean on, so that when you start that system going, you know that if you do every single step in that system, you're going to have success. I know that's kind of generic, but no, that's the best I got.
That's great, man. Look, I really appreciate you coming on, Mike, kind of just sharing a little bit more about your story, your journey. You know, obviously it's pretty incredible what you've been able to build on social, but you know, I also just so happen to know you do great work as well, with all
Thanks.
the furniture, with all the work and building the business that you have. I mean, it's very impressive, Mike. So, you know, again, just I want to thank you for being a great leader, a great role model, you know, contributing all of that content, that education that has undoubtedly inspired so many others out there. Like, it makes a big impact. And I'm just grateful that this world's got people like you that are doing that and that take the time to create as much as you do. So thank you. You know, thank you from the job trade community for all of the content, the education, the, you know, kind of the knowledge that you've shared. It really is cool, man. And I very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
All righty. Have a good one, man.
You too, brother.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Builder Stories. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and gained valuable insights that can help you in your journey along the way. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave us a review. And as always, if you or someone you know has a story to share, please contact us at builderstories.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Eric Fortenberry, and remember, every builder has a unique story. Keep building yours.